Welcome everyone to this class. So today we're taking polynomials. We started polynomials the previous day. We did evaluation of polynomials. I told you how to express polynomials. I told you first degree, second degree, third degree, and fourth degree polynomials. So I believe with those knowledges you can learn to apply it into solving polynomial equations. So for today we'll just deal with just quadratic equations of polynomials. I told you types of equations. I told you what was um first degree, second degree, third degree. I told you second degree was also called quadratic, and third was cubic, and first degree was linear. So I believe you still have those memories. If not, watch the previous lesson. So let's start. These polynomial equations. So you have to understand that polynomial equations is a process of equating polynomial expressions to zero. Like saying a group of polynomials, like saying you should do ax plus b, then equate it to zero, as simple as that. So let's take for example, let's call something here 2x plus 1, equate it to 0. This is a linear polynomial, so this is saying 2x is equals 1, then x is equals half. Like this is how simple it is. Then this is a linear polynomial. So the next would be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This now is a quadratic polynomial. So examples of this is saying 2x squared plus let me say 3x plus 1 equals 0. This is it. So there are so many methods in applying to solving this. But one thing you have to understand is you have to check if b squared minus 4ac is a perfect square. Of course, very well. You should know this is b, this is a, and this is c. You first check if you equate what is here, and what is here. You have to know if it's a perfect square. Then if you check that, if what you get, like after doing this and you get a perfect square, that's simply telling you can use the factor method to solve this problem. But if it doesn't give you that, that's simply telling you either use completing the square method or you use formula method. Formula method. So let's just try with this example. I brought out of my head. I don't know if it's a perfect square or not. Let's just see if it's a perfect square. That's saying b now. B in this case is 3. That's 3 squared plus minus 4. Then a is 2. Then c is 1. Let's see if it will give us a perfect square. This is 9 minus 8 is equals 1. So 9 minus 8 equals 1. This actually gives us a perfect square because square root of 1 is 1. That's simply telling us we can solve this with factorization method, which is factor method. So I'll start by taking on factorization method and I'll show you how to solve something like this. So let's go to the daily of the day. So you must understand today we are working with quadratic polynomials. In our next class we're going to take something like 8x cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d equals 0. We'll take this in the next lesson. So we'll solve this also. I'll tell you methods in which you can use in solving this. That's what we're going to take, but for now we're going to be concentrating on this one. There is no really much work on linear polynomials, equating them to 0. Very easy. Today we're going to work on this. So Yeah, so we take these basic examples. These are quadratic equations. There are three methods in solving this. I told you the three methods are, okay, in case you're taking it down, the three methods are factor method, is number one. Number two is completing the square. While number three is formula method. This is the part in which we're going to apply something we call my formula. I'm going to tell you how to generate the formula and how to solve it. So right now, we're solving these with factor method. Solving those with factor method. So let's go. So in solving this, I taught you firstly that what you must check for is that b squared minus 4ac is a perfect square. All the time, you must check that before you solve. That is what will guarantee you to use factor method, because if it is not a perfect square, you can't use factor method. I'll show you when we get to completing the square method that this won't give you a perfect square. That's why you have to apply those other methods. But if it gives you a perfect square, you don't need to take too much stress. You just have to apply this factor method and solve it once. And I'll also show you how to work it out with your calculator. You can solve this out with your calculator without even writing a thing on your book. Yeah. Or in case of you are writing an exam in which you tell you you're not meant to use calculator, so you are meant to know the method. And in case they give you this in a mathematical theory, like you will apply something to this, so they would, every marker will want to see how you are going to apply this method in solving. You won't show them that you use calculator and just skip the steps, because not everybody would actually give you those marks if you skip the steps. You don't know what the markers are looking for. So to pass your exam and get A, you have to know every single thing you're solving. You don't have to neglect anything at all. So firstly, we say b squared minus 4ac. I told you this is A, this is B, and this is C. The coefficients, A here is 1, B here is 4, and C is 21, minus 21, sorry. So let's go. B is minus 4 square, then minus 4, then A is 1, then C is also minus 21. So let's see the perfect square. This multiplying this gives us 16 minus, this is 4 multiplying 1 multiplying 21. This is A, okay, sorry, this is 4 and this is 8 plus 2. Yeah, because this would affect this. So let's sum that up. That's 16 plus 84. That gives us 100. And we all know the square root of 100 is 10. That's simply telling you it's a perfect square. So you have to also understand this shouldn't be on your notes. This should be on maybe in your jotter where you're going to try to know if it's a perfect square, because no one is actually looking for this. But to save you stress and not waste your time, this is the best thing to do, to know if it's a perfect square before you start solving. Yeah. So now we know it's a perfect square, so let's go with A. So going with A now, in solving quadratic equations with factor method, you have to make sure, you have to find two numbers in which when you multiply those two numbers, you get the multiplication of this multiplying this. That is saying, for example, 1 multiplying 21 gives 21. So we multiply these two now and we got 21. So now you have to look for that number in which when you multiply them by themselves, they give you 21, and when you add them up, they give you 4. So the best way to do it is saying, look for the things that can divide 21. So what can divide 21 first that will come to your mind is 3. Find 1 can divide 21. The next thing is 3. 3 multiplying 21. So, sorry. 3 can divide 21. Then when 3 divides 21, it should give you 7. Yeah, so 3 multiplying 7 is also 21. Yeah, and when you sum up these, the reason why we're not using this first one is because when you sum up 1 and 21, it will give you 4. Okay, but if you sum up this, it can give you this. For example, now this is the time in which you're going to get to apply signs to it. So let's say this is a negative sign, okay, and this is a positive sign. And you must also remember, do not neglect this sign. This is 1 multiplying minus 21 gives us minus 21. So we're looking for something that will multiply themselves to give minus 21. So plus 3 multiplying negative 7 will give minus 21. And when you add plus 3 with minus 7, it gives you 4. So now we found those factors, which is 3 and minus 7. I'll also teach you a faster way in which you get these factors and solve. Yeah, so we apply now. We now break this and say x squared plus 3x. Now we add x to it now. Minus 7x minus 21. Math is so beautiful because if you check, we haven't changed anything. If you subtract, we didn't bring anything from our pocket and add it here. If you sum up this, you're going to get this. You're going to get back here. So we didn't bring out anything from our pocket. We're just solving. That's the sweetness of mathematics. So this summing of themselves will give you x squared. Then this and this. Okay, sorry, you won't sum them up, so you won't get back here. Now we're trying to factorize it. So what is common here is x. You bring out x. Then what you have left is x plus 3. Then you bring out minus 7. Then what you have left is x plus 3. Because when this multiplies this to give you negative. So we're not performing magic here. The common thing here is 7. So when you bring out 7 from here, you get this. When you bring out minus 7 from here, you get plus 3. You want to always recheck what you're doing. You can multiply this again and see if you get this to make sure you're correct. So we pick, these are two the same things. Then we pick them as 1. Then we pick these two, saying x minus 7, and this we pick it as 1. Okay, x plus 3 equals 0. That's our answer. That means x minus 7 is equal 0, or x plus 3 is equal 0. Then x is equals 7, or x is equals minus 3. Yeah, that's simply saying when you put 7 here, you should get 0, or when you put minus 3 here, when you put minus 3 here, you should also get 0. As simple as that. So I won't solve the B and C as slight as I'm doing now. I will just show you how to do it. Then the look of things, you might do it yourself. I might just do one for you, then you do the other one yourself. So let's add this here, which is 7 squared minus 4 into 7 minus 21. It should give us 0. This is 49 minus 28 minus 21. Oh, gives us 0. So 28 minus 29 is 49. Okay, 49 minus 28 minus 21 is minus 49. It gives 0. If you add up minus 3 also, you get the same thing. That's saying what to solve is absolutely and absolutely very, very correct. Yeah, I've taken too much time explaining to you. I'm trying to make sure all parties understand, both the smart ones and the less smart ones. I'm trying to make sure everybody understands. I don't know, B and C are very simple. If you're following what I just taught you right now, B and C are very simple. I don't know if I have to solve it for you again. You should be able to solve those ones yourself. Yeah, you'll solve those ones yourself. For me, I believe we can go to completing the square method. Just try to apply the b square minus 4ac I told you, and apply everything I did here. You're going to solve it right. You're going to solve it right. Okay, so let's go completing the square method. So we're completing the square method. in this method, most times, whenever you sum of those b and c's, you're not going to get a perfect square. That's why this method was introduced, for you to understand, to be able to solve quadratic equations in which will not give you two factors. That one is called factor method, because when you solve it, you're going to get two factors. But with this, you're not going to get two factors. You're just going to get two numbers in which x are equal to. It might be a fraction, it might be a decimal. It might not be an whole number. Yeah, that's why we're applying this method. So computing the square method, let me just give you an example. Or before then, let me show you how this method works. That's saying ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Yeah, if you check this, if you sum up this, you won't get 0. This is a letter. These are letters throughout. So you can apply computing the square method to this and you're going to get an answer. Yeah, you're going to get an answer. But I will solve this for you later when I will teach you factor method. That's the way to generate the factor method formula. So let's just skip to some examples. So x squared minus 6x minus 4, right, is equal to 0. Yeah, we'll solve that. 2x squared plus 10x minus 7 is equal to 0. You should really pay attention to this method, because you're going to apply this method when you're solving partial fractions. You're still going to apply this method when I'm teaching you integral calculus. That's integrating by partial fraction. You still apply this method. So it's very important. In fact, even factor method is also very important, because you apply it to almost any part in mathematics. So just pay attention very well and do not neglect these things for anything. That's why I'm teaching you. If it was worthless, I won't be teaching you for any reason. So let's take the first one. Like I told you, I said b squared minus 4ac should give you a perfect square, right? Before you apply factor method, right? So let's put b squared minus 4ac. So this is minus c squared minus 4 multiplying 1 minus 4. This would never give you a perfect square. This is 36 minus 16. This would give you 2. 20 isn't the perfect square. So now this is why you will have to apply computing the square method, because you won't get the perfect square. Even for this also, you won't get the perfect square. So let's write. So about this, x squared minus 6x minus 4 equals 0. So solving, the first thing you have to do, the first step, you can write it in your jotter step by step. The first step is to say x squared minus 6x, move this to the side. And I told you, when a number crosses an equal sign, it has the sign changes. Some people might say add both sides by 4 or blah blah blah, but what they are simply doing, they're just moving this to this, which is equals 4. Now it has become positive. So now, after doing that, the next step to do now is saying, let me write it, so in case you didn't hear me well. You say add up the square of half the coefficient of x to both sides. You understand that? That's saying you should divide this first by 2. Then what you get, you add it to both sides. As simple as that. The coefficient of x, not x itself. It won't carry x, just this. Let me show you what I mean. That's x squared. 6 divided by 2 is 3. That's half. This is minus 6x. Now I'm trying to add that to both sides. This is minus 3 all squared. When you divide this by 2, you get minus 3. then you square it up, then you add it to both sides. This is plus, I'm adding it to both sides, is equals 4 plus minus 3 square. You have to watch well. I'm actually working with the sign. For example, if it was a positive sign that was here, you wouldn't need to do this. You just put plus and you don't need to put anything into the bracket because you've added it to both sides, but it's negative sign. So you have to divide this by 2, square it up and add it to both sides. That's where the work is. So after doing that, you get x squared minus 6x minus 9 is equals 4 minus 9. Yeah, so this is x squared minus 6x. Now you can factorize this. Factorizing this, use the method I taught you. What you're going to get is x minus 3 all squared. Yeah, I'll show you a faster method in solving quadratic equations. Yeah, I'll show you while I'm teaching you how to use calculator and solving. Yeah, so this is equals 4 minus 9, this is minus 5. As simple as that. Then you move square to this side now. Same. What would I erase now? Okay, so now you're moving square to this side. So it's x minus 3. So people also say find the root of both sides to cancel the square. It's just too much English for mathematics. Just when a square crosses the equal sign, it turns into a root. When raised to power 3 crosses this equal sign, it turns to cube root. As simple as that. So x, the same way this basis crosses, that's the same way the powers crosses. That's the way I solve it. So when this crosses this side, it turns into a root. So this is x minus 3 is equals square root of minus 5. That means x now we don't know the sign that is here. That means x will be equals 3 plus or minus root 5. As simple as that. That's saying x is equals 3 plus root 5, or x is equals 3 minus root 5. I believe you are meant to solve the second one if you are listening well. Okay, let me solve it. They look a little bit different. Let me solve it. This is 2x squared plus 10x minus 7 is equals 0. Solving this, just do exactly what I told you. Check b squared minus 4ac. If it doesn't give you a perfect square, you apply this method immediately. So now remove this. 2x squared plus 10x, this is equals 7. Then we divide this and square it up. Okay, before you do that, you have to make sure the coefficient of x is 1. Before you solve, you have to make sure the coefficient of x is 1 before you solve. So let's divide all sides by 2. Dividing all sides by 2. This is this. Okay, I'll leave this because I don't want to use decimal. This is 2. So now it becomes x squared plus 5x is equals 7 over 2. I don't use decimal. So now you also divide this by 2. You square it up, then you add it to both sides. Yeah. So this is x squared plus 5x plus 5 over 2 all squared is equal to 7 over 2 plus 5 over 2 all squared. Yeah, I'm working fractions, not working decimal. So, having done that, a simple way of solving this completing square method is try as much possible not to open the left hand side yet. Do not open this. Okay? We're not applying magic. It's not as if we are too smart or too brilliant. Do not open this. Just say, divide it and say x squared plus 5x plus 5 over 2, yeah, all squared. Leave it that way, then open this. this will give you 5 multiplying 5 is 25 over 4. Then when we find the LCM, that's 4, 2 and 4, 2 multiplying 7, 14 plus 25. So this should give, you understand what I did, right? I opened this and then I summed it up, as simple as that. So this should give 39 over 4. So I can say this is 39 over 4. Yeah. Summing of that gives 39 over 4. 139 over 4. So let me take it up. So simple. So now you now say x plus. That's why I told you not to expand this. Say x plus 5 over 2 all square. As simple as that. As if you're too brilliant. Someone think you're applying magic here. But if you open this, you should get this. Okay? If you open this, you should get this. Yeah. Because damn it. 39, right? No, I think 39. 39 over 4. So now you bring the square to this side. Okay, so now it becomes x plus 5 over 2 equals square root of 39 over 4. Okay, so this is x plus 5 over 2. This will give us a decimal. So let me say 39 over 2. Yeah, I thought you saw it. I don't know, you should know how to simplify things when you see root. So now it now becomes, I told you we don't know the sign that comes with the root. We don't know the sign. So that's why we now say x will be equals 5 over 2 plus or minus 39 over 2. Then now becomes x is equals 5 plus 39 over 2, or x is equals 5 minus root, hey, sorry, 39 all over 2. As very simple as that. That's all for completing the square method. So now let's solve factor method. I don't know, I kept the other ones for you in factor method. I hope it's not more complex than the one I saw, like this one now. This one is more complex than the first one I saw. So we're going to solve, factor method, formula method. Formula method. So solving formula method, we just apply, we just use the normal term for quadratic equation, which is ax squared plus bx plus c, is equal to 0. So we are trying to get the formula. The formula I told you that you must find before you can apply formula method. So you have to use completing the square method to this, because this is equal to 0, and definitely this is not a, if you do b squared minus 4ac blah blah blah, you shouldn't get a perfect square. So this is solvable though. So let's solve. So firstly, like I told you in the last one, you have to make sure the coefficient of this part here is x. So divide both sides firstly by a, dividing all sides by a. So that gives x squared plus bx over a plus c over a is equal to 0. Now the second step is to move this to the other side. So this is x squared plus bx over a is equal to minus c over a. So after doing that, I told you divide here by 2. The coefficient of this, which is b over a, we divide it by 2. That's b over a divided by 2, which is b over a times 1 over 2, which is equals b over 2a. So we're going to be adding this to both sides. Okay, so this becomes the square of this, this becomes x squared plus bx over a plus b over 2a all squared equals, now bringing this now, b over 2a minus c over a. Yeah, so sorry. Where do I clean now? Oh, I could still write though. Then finding the LCM of this part gives you all over 2a. Right, this and this will give b minus square. Okay, square. So opening up this, it will give b square over 4a square. Okay, yeah, so finding the LCM now, what will be here would be 4a square. So 4a square and 4a square will give 1. All multiplying this, that's b square. Then a in this will give minus 4a. Minus 4a multiplying this. Sorry, a in this will give 4a. 4a multiplying this, that's minus 4ac. Okay? Yeah, so like we did the other time. So you just pick this and you pick this, and then it becomes x plus b over 2a all squared is equals b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Yeah, simple as that. So let me wipe off this. So we're working with just this now. So this square would cross here and become root. So you can call it squaring both sides like you always call it. This is x plus b over 2a. Now it becomes root, all root b square minus 4ac over 4a square. The root of this is 2 and the root of this is a. Okay, so now this can become, find the square root of this can become 2a this. Okay, you multiply 2a multiplying 2a, that will give you 4a squared. Okay, so having done that, we open up this bracket. So we say x plus b over 2a is equal to square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So now this will move over to the side, and x becomes, I told you we don't know the sign which is here, so it becomes b over 2a plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so now simple, you know the LCM already. Is equals x is equals b all over 2a, the LCM, and plus or minus b squared minus 4ac. So this is the formula for solving formula method. Some call it Almighty formula, but I don't see anything very mighty about it. B squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Sorry, when this came here, it should be a negative, and negative. It's minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That's what we're going to be using. So I'll just give you one example, then we apply that formula. So now we're going to apply formula method in solving this example here. So this is the formula in which we're going to apply. So firstly, before you apply formula method, you have to do this. You have to say a is equals 2, which is this, b is equals minus 3, and c is equals minus 4. So now we'll put these letters into this formula and then we'll get what x is. So now x will be equals, now minus b is minus 3 plus or minus square root of b now is minus 3 all squared minus 4, a now is 2, then c now is minus 4 all over 2, then a is 2. So this becomes x is equals 9 plus or minus square root of 9, 4 multiplying 4, minus what is minus 4, that's 16, 16 times 2, that's positive 32 over 4. Then this becomes 9 plus or minus square root of 9 plus 32, that's 41 over 4. Simple like that. That means x is equals 9 plus 41 over 4, or x is equals 9 minus 41 over 4. This is your answer, applying that formula. Okay, so that's all for today. So okay, I'll thank you for